My host rang the doorbell and his 6-year-old daughter opened the door and she looked at me with a big smile and said, "Daddy, look! He has the same curly hair as mine." Dear friends, welcome to my 17th episode of my world travel stories. And today I'm going to share about my experience at the world's friendliest place, St. John's in Canada. On the 30th of June 2009, I took a flight from London to Newark and then on to St. John's and arrived at the airport at 11 p.m. Now, St. John's is the capital of Newfoundland, which is the easternmost region of Canada. My main reason to visit St. John's was to travel to the French territory of St. Pierre and Miquelon. I was the only non-white person at the airport and probably the only one who needed a visa too. I proceeded to the immigration counter and handed over my pack of passports. They were so astonished and said that they have never seen something like this. The officer asked me, "Where is your final destination?" I told him St. Pierre. The officer looked at my Canadian visa and looked a bit perplexed. He looked at me and said that my visa is single entry and if I travel to St. Pierre, then I will not have a valid visa to return to St. John's. Now you can see my single entry Canadian visa. So he graciously asked me to sit down and said that he will make some phone calls to the head office. He said that he's been working in the immigration for a long time, but this is the first time he's facing this situation. After 30 minutes, he came to me and gave me the passport and said that Canada and St. Pierre have an agreement and hence I can use the same visa to return. He was so polite and apologized for keeping me waiting. I was so shocked with the respect and courtesy that the officer showed to me. I've been through so many airports all over the world, but I've never been treated with so much dignity before. As I exited the airport, I was welcomed by my host from the local church. I was the only passenger left, and this was the first time I was meeting my host. I apologized for the delay as it was already midnight. He just shared a friendly smile and said that this was the first time he was meeting an Indian. He explained that St. John's is predominantly a white community. Very soon we arrived home. My host rang the doorbell and his 6-year-old daughter opened the door and she looked at me with a big smile and said, "Daddy, look! He has the same curly hair as mine." I was amazed at the warmth that I experienced even at midnight to a total stranger from a totally different ethnic background. Her mother told me that her daughter was so excited that she stayed up to welcome me into their home. As the host and his wife were preparing a meal for me, I took out my guitar and played a song for this little girl. In between my performance, she went to her room and brought her pink guitar and started to play along with me. Once I was done playing with the guitar, she gave me a hug and wished me good night and went off to sleep. I was explaining to my host about how friendly the officials were at the St. John's airport. They shared that despite being predominantly white, prejudice against anyone is entirely foreign concept to them. In fact, on the morning of September 11, 2001, after the two planes crashed into the World Trade Center, the entire US airspace was shut down. Many of the flights were rerouted to Newfoundland. St. John's and Gander airports played a very crucial role. They were just given 2 hours notice and the entire community came together and opened up their houses to host these passengers. Passengers had to go through intense examination as they passed through customs. With what had happened with the terror attacks, everybody was a suspect. They had no clue if these passengers from the planes were good people or bad people, but they took the risk and welcomed these passengers wholeheartedly and took good care of them until the US airspace opened up. For example, just about 3 hours away from St. John's is a small town called Gander, which has a population of about 10,000 residents. On September 11, 2001, 6,595 passengers and crew members from 38 flights landed in Gander on a single day from nearly 100 countries. People opened every possible place to accommodate every person. Shops, restaurants, pharmacies, etc. gave supplies free of cost. Diane Davis, a teacher, helped house 750 people at the town's elementary school. Listening to these hosts, I was reminded of few scriptures from the Bible. Hebrews 13:2 says, "Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by so doing, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it." Matthew 25:35 and 36 says, "For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me." Verse 40, "The king will reply, 'Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me.'" Dear friends, let us make the best of every opportunity to be a blessing. We do not need a big house or a lot of money to extend an arm of hospitality. With what we have, we can be a blessing. Generosity is not defined by the amount or size or comfort, but rather it is in the heart behind the giving. That is what the people of Newfoundland did. They went beyond their comfort, resources, and fears to show hospitality to stranded passengers who arrived from 100 nations on a single day. With what I experienced, I can truly say that kindness is woven into the very fabric of their culture and lifestyle. Let us make hospitality as part of our lifestyle, and who knows, by doing so, we might be unwittingly entertaining angels. Dear friends, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would encourage you to go to youtube.com/BennyPrasad. And there's a bell icon there. Please click on that so that every time I post a video, you will be notified. And I would love to receive your comments too. And please share these videos to your friends and your families so that they will also be blessed. May God bless you all.